to do the session in both English and French, and if time allows, we're going to have a Q&A at the end of the session.
Topic that we are going to debate right now, and I will just invite Mr. President to do the opening speech of this important panel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good afternoon, Excellencies. The topic for our consideration is the new approach for the global business world, economic crime, corruption, international sanctions. And I will just avoid all the protocols in order to save time. So corruption is a pervasive global issue with severe economic implication. According to the World Bank, an estimated $1 trillion is paid in bribes annually, while the United Nations estimate that corruption costs the global economy $2.6 million a year, roughly 5% of the global GDP. Despite these staggering figures, the true scale of corruption is difficult to measure due to its covert nature and the varying definitions and methodologies used across different studies. Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index, CPI, provides a comprehensive measure of perceived levels of public sector corruption worldwide. In 2022, countries like Denmark, Finland, and New Zealand were ranked among the least corrupt nations, showcasing effective governance and strong anti-corruption frameworks. These nations exemplify how robust international institutional quality and enforcement of anti-corruption measures can significantly mitigate corruption. Now let's look at corruption and its effects on society. Ladies and gentlemen, the detrimental effects of corruption extend beyond the immediate financial losses. By diverting already scarce resources, corruption hinders direct financing of projects and programs, while simultaneously raising additional costs that governments and private sector actors find themselves unable to overcome. However, beyond this direct impact, we must also bear in mind the overall disruptive nature of corruption. It undermines already challenged economies and exacerbates poverty, leading to an upsurge in crime, violence, and potential for conflict or other forms of instability. In short, corruption is not only bad for business, but also negatively impacts our general well-being as a society. Politically, corruption distorts democratic processes, enabling those with deep pockets to influence elections and policy making, often to the detriment of the public good. In Africa, the challenge is not lack of anti-corruption laws, but the weak enforcement of existing legislations. This failure to hold corrupt individuals accountable fosters a climate of impunity, encouraging further corrupt practices and eroding confidence in public institutions. Now, dealing with corruption. Given the severe impact of economic crimes, corruption, and illicit financial flows on governance and societal well-being, it is crucial to address these issues decisively. Domestically, this involves rigorous enforcement of anti-corruption laws and proactive measures to prevent corrupt activities. Internationally, legislation such as the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, FCPA, of the US plays a critical role. The FCPA prohibits US companies and individuals from bribing foreign officials to obtain or retain business. It has been instrumental in holding multinational corporations accountable for their actions abroad, leading to significant fines and settlement. The UK's Global Anti-Corruption Sanctions Regulation 2021 and the EU's ongoing efforts to integrate corruption into its Magnitsky laws further demonstrate the global push to combat corruption beyond national borders. Now, anti-corruption controls. In addition to FCPA, which I've mentioned, several other critical regulations and controls are instrumental in combating corruption. Sabana-Zosili Act, enacted in response to corporate financial scandals, mandates trade reforms to improve financial disclosures and prevent accounting fraud. It requires internal controls and procedures for financial reporting to reduce the risk of corporate fraud. UK Bribery Act 2010. This act is one of the strictest anti-corruption legislation globally, prohibiting all forms of bribery and mandating organizations to implement adequate procedures to prevent bribery. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD Anti-Bribery Convention. This international treaty aims to combat bribery of foreign public officials in international business transactions and establishes legally binding standards to criminalize such practices. United Nations Convention Against Corruption. This provides a comprehensive global framework for preventing and combating corruption, promoting international cooperation, and providing legal and technical assistance. The gaps and the challenges. Despite these efforts, several gaps remain. Number one is targeting high-level corruption. Current legislation often focuses on large-scale corruption, overlooking the pervasive impact of small-scale corrupt practices. This leaves smaller entities under the radar, allowing them to continue their corrupt activities unchecked. Number two, uneven playing field. Companies in jurisdictions with stringent anti-corruption laws may find themselves at a disadvantage compared to those in regions with lax enforcement. This disparity can incentivize unethical practices even among compliant firms. Number three, impunity for corruption. Many corrupt officials continue to evade accountability either due to insufficient evidence or the protection afforded by their superiors. This ongoing impunity perpetuates the cycle of corruption. Now let's look at the innovative approaches to combat corruption. One, to effectively combat corruption, a multifaceted and innovative approach is required. One, enhanced detection mechanism. That is utilizing advanced technology such as artificial intelligence and blockchain to detect and prevent corrupt practices. These technologies can provide greater transparency and traceability in transactions, reducing opportunities for corruption. Number two, strengthening whistleblowers' protections. That is encouraging whistleblowers by ensuring robust legal protections and incentives for reporting corrupt activities. This can increase the likelihood of uncovering and addressing corruption. Number three, international cooperation. Foster greater international collaboration in anti-corruption efforts. This includes harmonizing legislation across borders and sharing intelligence to track and prosecute corrupt individuals and entities effectively. Number four, public awareness campaigns. Increase public awareness of the detrimental effects of corruption and the importance of ethical behavior. Empowering citizens to hold their leaders accountable can create a more transparent and accountable governance environment. Number five, building a non-corruptive culture. We should develop and implement measures to build a culture of integrity within organizations. This can include regular training on anti-corruption policies, the establishment of ethics committees, and a reward system for employees and companies that demonstrate exemplary anti-corruption practices. Reorganizing and rewarding ethical behavior can encourage more organizations to adopt stringent anti-corruption measures. Ladies and gentlemen, the fight against corruption is indeed a challenging and a costly endeavor. However, it is a necessary pursuit to safeguard institutional integrity, ensure justice, and promote equitable development. While significant strides have been made, there remains a critical need for ongoing efforts to enforce anti-corruption laws, close existing gaps, and then promote a culture of accountability and transparency. Winning this war against corruption is essential for the well-being of current and future generations. It is incumbent upon us to heed this call and work collectively towards corruption-free world. On this note, I would like to thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for this inspiring opening speech around the corruption. Thank you very much.